When you log into the Test Administrator interface, it will look quite new this year. You'll notice first that there are two tabs, one for active sessions and one for upcoming sessions. On the Active Sessions tab, you can see any sessions that you currently have going or have scheduled that are active on this date. And you can join them by clicking the Join button under Action. If you click Share Link, it will uncover for you the test session ID, and then also a link to the test session ID if your students are using the web-based secure browser. To start a new session, you would just click Start a New Session Now and go through the process that we have always gone through to start a new session by selecting a test and then going ahead and starting that session. We'll go over that in just a moment. The one thing I do want to show you is upcoming sessions. So in the upcoming sessions tab, you can see that I have a session scheduled starting tomorrow. It actually goes for a couple of days, so you could have your same session going on for several days if you wanted to. It's a remote session, not an in-person session. I can click the share link to get the test session ID. I can edit this, so I can edit the dates that it's available. Maybe I didn't mean to make it start tomorrow. I can not edit the type. That is the only thing that I cannot edit. And I could add tests to it, I could remove tests from it, and then click Save Session. Now, if I had selected the wrong session type here, I would have to delete this session and then schedule a new session in advance, which I'll show you how to do. We're going to click on the Schedule a Session button. The first thing it asks you to do is select dates. You can select dates in the future. Then you select your test. Now I can see what tests I have selected over here on the right, and if I add more tests, they will appear, and if I need to delete tests, I can do that there. When I'm scheduling a session, I need to give it a name. I need to select the session type, whether it is in-person or remote hybrid. This is really important, your selection here, one, because you can't change it, and two, because if you select remote or hybrid, it is going to require your students to display video so that the communication tools will work. So that is required for any group sessions where students will be logging into the secure browser at home to take a test. We're going to go ahead and click Save Session. And it pops up this window here where I can see the session ID and the link. And now I can see that has been added to my list of upcoming sessions. And it's showing the type is in person. Again, I can click Share Link to grab that test session ID so I can send it to my students in advance and they can easily log into the test. I can edit or delete it. If you go back to active sessions, let's just say you need to start a session right now. You click Start a New Session Now. It's going to ask you to select a test. I'm going to make it a remote test. Start that. And that, when I do that, it takes me directly to the TA interface. It gives me the test session ID and the link to the test session if students are using the web-based secure browser. I still see my test session ID up here. This is all the same. We can select more tests by clicking that button. When students are trying to get into this test session, my approvals button will light up and start to bounce. Since this is a remote session, I do have to check the box to say I agree to allow the browser to use my camera and microphone. And then typically, if you haven't done it already, the browser is going to give you another pop-up saying, hey, do you want this website to use your camera and microphone? And you do have to click Allow. Now, if you accidentally said, no, I don't want to, you can click up here in your browser on the little, icon of a padlock, and over here it would say block, and you can just change that to allow for camera and microphone to be sure that you are available for your students. You can preview yourself here, and that is it. So since this is a remote session, I will show you one more thing. I don't have any students in here yet, but I can broadcast a message to all students in the session by clicking on the broadcast button. I can type something in here. And when I click that arrow, that actually goes, it displays on the student's screen and it is read to the student. So it is probably important to spell things right, unlike how I did it there. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the TA interface. We will look at a few more features a little bit later.